question.
There you go.
Okay, you start. All right, take it from there. Start from the top again.
And so the difference in this standard, um, because it's in the narrative format, the only
Mm-hmm.
difference in this standard is in the narrative format, you have the nature of assignment and the level of responsibility.
Right.
In this one, you have the nature of assignment and the control over the work. And so those are the two things in the grade level descriptions that you have to look at.
No problem.
And so the control over the work is like it's almost the same thing as supervisory controls.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about how we classify, we don't normally think about the qualification requirements because that's a staffing thing. But what we do identify is we identify the knowledge, skills, and abilities, um, the supervisory controls, what guidelines they're to cover, um, how much independence they have in doing the work. And so in this one, you're going to look at the nature of the assignments, which talks about um, it measures up here under number one. It measures the difficulty and complexity of the tests and the examination procedures that are performed. It also covers the skills, knowledge, and judgment required to perform them. And so the nature of assignment includes such elements as technical complexity, the procedures, the level of knowledge and skill required, and the significance and influence of the test results. For example, test and examination procedures range from relatively simple qualitative urinalysis to fluorescent antibody trypanosomal antibodies absorption test. All words that are too big for me. And so an individual job is evaluated in the terms of the actual duties and responsibilities involved in the assignment rather than the terms of the function of that particular test in that laboratory. And so when you think about the nature of assignment, these are the things that you're looking for and
Mm-hmm.
the level that they fall on. And so they'll have them and they'll be explicit in the grade level descriptions, and I'll show you because I went through those also last night. And so the only difference is in regular narrative, you have nature of assignment and level of responsibility. And it changes again to the control over the work. And so this factor covers the availability of guidelines and instructions and the direction, control, and guidance exercised by the senior level people in the field, like the pathologists, the medical
Mm-hmm.
technologists, which are the specialists. These are the specialists that give them instructions, give them guidelines, and directs how they run the test.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to be able to understand the difference and the supervisory medical technicians. And so you want to, and so the control over the work talks about the kind and degree of supervision over the work, whether they're doing it step by step, whether they're doing it independently, whether they're doing it and they never talk to the specialist, um,
Mm-hmm.
what type of the level, whether the pathologist tells them what test to run and what to look for, or whether
Mm-hmm.
the tech itself knows how to run the test, knows what to look for, knows when the test comes out crazy and what to do to make the test come out right.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the things in the control of the work that you're going to be looking for. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Okay.
although the senior person or the specialist, the pathologist, is a person responsible for what the findings are, any decisions made are based on those findings. And so it talks about, and when you get to the grade level um, determinations or examples in the standard, it talks about what the technician can do on its own and what they can't,
Mm-hmm.
and how much authority they have in doing it. And so the standard includes criteria used. This is for the grade level descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Non-supervisory laboratory aides and laboratory technicians from the grade 1 to the grade 7. and it talks about the performance which is typical in that occupation as a whole. And so you want to look at what the, the significance of the level of the test and the significance of how independently they carry out those tests and have the ability at the higher levels to make adjustments to the test to get the correct result. And the other thing that I picked out was because I never looked at this series standard until um somebody else brought it up a couple of weeks ago, and it may have been you. Um, there's a portion in there that talks about if the technician has the authority to do something without calling the pathologist or the doctor, and in an emergency situation, they can run the test and send it to the hospital or the doctor's office or whatever without consulting the higher level pathologist. And so at its highest level, it talks about those kinds of things. And so you just have to judge. Um, and so
So that is that's at grades higher than the 7.
no,
That's
those are grades up to the 7.
so that would be the 7, the person that
Yes.
does not have to consult with the pathologist.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
I
yes.
got you.
Because they're
Okay.
they're 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 almost at the technician level. They're the highest level technician. They can do what they choose.
Okay.
Now, it does tell you where to go to look if you think that it's higher than the 7 in the evaluation process. It gives you um some examples of the work. I didn't highlight all that stuff, but it also I want you to focus on at every grade level what's required at that grade level.
Mm-hmm.
At the grade one, the A, I want you to focus on what's required and then look at the differences in the nature of assignment and um the control of the work. Because what I found out in this standard,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I don't know why this didn't take right here. And for the two, but in this standard, they're specific in what it covers in the opening paragraph, and so it tells you that, like for the two, the disposition level differs from the one, and it explains how it's different, so you know what to look for.
Good.
And
Okay.
so, I'm not sure that the two work must have came out, and highlight must have came off, and I didn't catch it. But I went through and I highlighted all of the stuff for you to look at, and so that you to know what the difference is in the level. And I highlighted what was important.
All right. All
So
right.
for you to look at for each grade level.
All right.
And
Okay.
so um, you should be able to, if especially when you look at the opening paragraphs,
Mm-hmm.
distinguish what it is you're looking for in that standard. And then
Okay.
under the what's important under the nature of assignment and the control over the work at each
All
grade
right.
level. So I did that at each grade level.
All right.
Um, I'm going backwards, I'm sorry.
Just so you know, the one that I'm working on is a 4, well, submitted as a 4. So I think I'll be all
Okay.
right. I'll be able to get, I'll be able to get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 4 would be easy. So I highlighted the stuff at the
Yeah.
4. Yeah. And
All
so
right.
you know that when they put the appropriate specialization in it, you're gonna pick one of those titles, whether it's um blood sampling or whatever the names were. Blood sampling, what are the names? Specialization titles. Medical technologist, or a general medical technologist, or if their specialization is chemistry, blood blanking. And I thought you said hematology. I wasn't sure. And microbiology. And so what's in the parentheses is one of these titles under here. Okay.
So, but the one I looked this over, and just to make sure I got this right, the medical technician though is when they're doing two or more. So
Yes,
if they're
yes,
doing chemistry and blood banking, right?
yes,
All
yes,
right,
yes,
then they'll be
yes,
the technician because they're at a
yes,
higher level.
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm assuming the medical technician would be a 4 and above. Well,
Right.
actually, what was that? What was on the 2? What was that
And
option?
so the aides up to the 3,
Okay, I got you.
medical laboratory aides up into the grade 3, and medical technician from the grade 4 to the 7.
Okay, so now here's what I don't understand on that one. If it's a medical technician with the appropriate specialization, um, how will it have an appropriate specialization, parenthetical, if the purpose of the medical technician is to be, profound in two or more?
Then you just
Uh,
leave it regular medical technician. So
okay.
in the first paragraph of the titles, the
Yeah.
medical technician applies to all grades. And so you don't have to add the specialization if it's doing 2 or more. And so
Okay.
you just give it a medical technician title.
Okay. Okay. So if they're doing just one, then I do the
Yes.
specialization title.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you leave it blank and don't put a parenthetical, then they could be doing all 4, a little bit of all 4.
All right. All right.
Okay.
All right. That's easy enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this one, look, this one was I don't like narrative format, but this one was real easy. I was
I love
surprised.
narrative. I love
Yeah,
narrative.
you love narrative. It's easy to
Yes. To me, it
practice
makes more
evaluation.
sense. Yeah, it makes more sense. Only because the PDs are not well written most of the time. At least not the ones that I've ever had.
Oh, okay,
Almost
okay.
almost all the PDs are I still have questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They obviously did not cover answering the questions exactly. You know what I mean? They didn't use this as as a blueprint to
right,
guide them through to answer the
right,
questions to
right,
explain
right.
the
And unlike the
complexities of
unlike
it.
the FES format, we have the primary standard which was written first, and then all the other standards were written from that primary standard. I don't know what was written before these were written. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I messed with the primary standard once. They told me that
No,
my
you
boss
don't you
told me
don't you don't use
said
it.
you don't do
It's
that.
only
Yeah,
for reference purposes
yeah. He said he's probably done one in 13 years
in
that
the using
that
the
required
primary
it.
standard for.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like you don't need to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Anyways, that was one in earlier in the beginning though. That was one of my mistakes. I read it and it said if you have any issues, go to the primary standard.
Only for
Uh,
reference purposes. Yeah,
right,
you
but I
know.
didn't read that part, and this is way back in the beginning, back in the day. So again, I made all kind of I made every mistake that's possible, but I never made the same mistake twice because
Very
once I
good.
got it,
That's
I was like, oh, that was a
very
big
good.
mistake, sir.
Very good.
you know, yeah, but that
Yeah,
was that was always that was in practice mode though.
yeah,
But
yeah,
now
yeah,
now like I said, man, it is I can read these things and I'm loving it, and it's so easy now. Like
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
getting much
Yeah,
better.
and I understand when
Um,
you enter a new standard, it's kind of difficult because you're not familiar with it. You don't understand the concept of that new standard.
mhm.
And so
Yeah.
you good with this now.
Yeah, it's all
We can go
perfect.
to the
Yeah,
3.
yeah. Yep, that's it. Yep.
And so you asked about the 303.
The three now, this is the thing that boggles me with the 303. First of all, why um before I don't know if I should be trying to make sense of this, but why is it that the PSAs doesn't just have their own series anyway? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense. To me, the 303 is for miscellaneous. Is that not correct for miscellaneous positions?
Right.
But
Miscellaneous clerks and assistants, right.
right, but a PSA is a is probably one of the most used
And,
positions
and VA,
in
and
yeah.
VA. And so what VA could do, but they probably don't want to do the work, is that the hospital, whoever runs that agency could make a request to OPM to create their own stand.
Right, and I don't understand
They
that.
haven't done
So
it. Yeah.
all right, so I just have to get over that. Okay.
Yeah, you just have to get
Um,
over it. And
yeah, well,
so it's for any clerk or assistants, and then the functional guide that you use the evaluation criteria. Yeah, you should be able to do those with your eyes closed. Just pick one. Don't.
sure. Hmm. So he told me a small thing, but he told me that on the last one when I was doing the FLSA, I'm filling out the form. I clicked off for clerical for the exemption, but he told me that I also should have clicked off technical, and I didn't understand why I should have been doing the technical part as well. Does that make any sense? Because he said that when it comes to doing the FLSA worksheets, you click off as many as apply. But I don't understand how is. I didn't ask him. I'll ask him when I have my. I think we're gonna have our reviews next week, whatever. I'll bring it up to him and ask him like, why would I click off technical? I just took his advice at the time. I didn't want to.
The only thing that I can think of is normally when you think you remember the PACTO categories:
Yeah.
professional, administrative, technical, and clerical. Technical and clerical are one grade interval positions. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's referring to the fact that they typically go together. You know, when you look up a standard that's like the supply 2005, it's supply clerical and technician series
Hmm.
because they're one grade interval positions.
All right.
That's just my basic logic because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure. I don't know that I have VA's worksheet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. It's clerical position is a clerical position. If you're a
Yeah.
tech position, it's a technical position. And there are some technical positions that can that can be exempt
Mm-hmm.
because of the level of work they do. If you're an engineering technician
Mm-hmm.
at a higher grade,
Mm-hmm.
you could be exempt depending on what type of information. Think about engineering technician that's working on missiles.
Mm-hmm.
They could be exempt be, and not and
Yeah.
not and not be
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah. It should be. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, because of the
Okay.
level of work, because of who they have to deal with, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's
I
not
got you.
specific.
All
So
right.
but maybe he wants to just make sure you cover both categories, clerical and technical. I don't know.
Well. All right.
That
All
didn't
right.
make any sense. Also when you asked also about the statement of difference. Um, have you seen how they do statement of difference? Do they do full PDs? Do they do um evaluated um PDs? I mean, do they because typically what I would do,
Mm-hmm.
I would create the highest level of the position, the full performance level. I would
Mm-hmm.
create that PD first.
First. Okay.
And then I have a statement. It depends on the agency though, because some agencies will allow you to do a simulated statement of difference. That's not the one. That one. A simulated statement of difference like this. And so the full performance level of this statement of difference is a 12. And I sent you this in the email. And so what I did was I wrote a statement of difference for the 5, for the 7, for the 9, and the 11. Now, some agencies require that you write a statement of difference. You create a full PD for the highest level, the lowest level, and one level in between. So if the full performance level is a
Well.
12, then you would
Mm-hmm.
write a 5 and say a 9.
Mm-hmm.
You could either do it this way. Some agencies require that you document the
Okay.
differences in the levels.
I
And
got you.
so in the statement of difference for the 7, you may put at the grade level 7, the knowledge required is 1-3 instead of 1-2. Or
Mm-hmm.
no, let's see, 1-5 is a typical for a professional. So 1-6 instead of 1-5. And so you will put what the difference is in what the factor level is for 1-7 in the statement of difference. At the 1-7 level for the grade 7, this is what the factor level 1-7 should include. This is what the factor level for guidelines or supervisory controls will include. And so what you need to do is first figure out what the format is for your agency.
Okay. All right. No, easy enough.
A little peek in the files and some,
Okay.
and see.
All
And
right.
then, use that format because you don't want to start doing it one way and then they tick ding you because that's not the way the agency does it. And
Okay.
so, but I did email you this. I couldn't find one. Um, I got so much stuff on my computer. And I've been trying to keep it all separated, but it's not working very well.
Mm,
I've resorted now to buying another computer. I bought another computer and I'm going to put one job on one computer, one job on another computer. And then they told me at the graduate school yesterday that they were going to send me a computer, so a
mm-hmm.
laptop. So I'll be able to start better keeping stuff separate.
Okay.
But if
All
I
right.
find one where it shows the differences in the um how to write the differences in the factor levels for that grade, then
Mm,
I'll email that to you also. But this is the
okay.
one that I use. I use this at HUD. After
Mm-hmm.
I left HUD, I didn't really classify anymore because I was
Mm-hmm.
a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll look. I may have some examples
All
uh,
right.
that other students have sent me or that I put together for a class or something. But I just need to look.
I got you. All right. Sounds good. What else was on my list? Was that it? I think I had
I
three
thought
things.
that unless you had something else, did you need to look at the functional guide for the 303 or you got that?
Yeah. Let's just take a quick peek in there. Let me tell you what my dilemma is with it. My dilemma is that it does not reference. Um, I think that's the one that does not reference what where to go. If I'm not mistaken, is that the fly sheet that does not that leaves you hanging?
Right, right. It doesn't. The flash
Okay.
sheet doesn't. And so let me OPM. So, and so the key to when you have a flash sheet is to find the closest related standard to the primary purpose of the position, the primary purpose of the work,
Mm-hmm.
and use that or a functional guide. And so for the 303, they have prepared this clerical and assistance guide.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime it's clerical and assistance, straight clerical and straight assistance, you use this functional guide.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
There is another one off if it's doing office automation and all they're doing is, keying or typing or something,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use this in addition to the straight clerical and technical. Okay. But basically, all 303s, you use this.
Mhm.
If they're straight clerical, straight assistants, because there's a secretary guide. So you use this one.
So let's talk about parenthetical for this one.
Okay.
For this one. So because I noticed that some have the OA office automation parenthetical and some don't. I knew that, and so I purposely when I did my consult with the hiring manager this time around, I straight up asked her. I said, "Is this person doing office automation?" And she said, "Very rarely, only once a month. They'll be running this report just once a month, and supplying this to us just once a month." So to me, that was a no. This does not require the office automation to be in there. Only because she told me no. So, um, but if they are doing some office automation, would you put the parenthetical in there?
I would at least if it's 25% or more, I would.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, if it's 25% or
Yeah,
more, I would put it in there.
no. Okay,
And
once a
so
month is yeah, once a month is
the
not gonna.
other caveat is there are some, but you handle a specific region.
I do, yeah, I do. Well, the state of pretty much the state of Pennsylvania.
And so if there is a OA table for a rule, and there may be an office automation table for the 303 series pay table for the special pay rate, excuse me. Then in some instances there's a special pay rate for clerical and assistance work in rural areas
Hmm.
that fall under the pay table may fall under the regular pay scale may fall under the rest of the US. And
Right.
so if it falls under the rest of the US, then they would be required to pay that person to give them some extra money for working in that area, even if they do 25%, some extra money. But that should be brought to the staffing people and not to you. Because that's when it
Okay.
comes to setting pay. It doesn't affect, it could, but it really doesn't affect the classification.
Okay.
So they
Now,
just give them that extra OA
mhm.
money because they're in a rural area.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I want to just just do a quick overview is if I did have one that had an OA parenthetical that needed to be in there, how am I going to apply that to doing the classification? If
And
it's
so
yeah, if it needs to be.
you look at this guy and gather the information from this guy.
Hmm.
You're not going to evaluate your position based on this guy, but you're going to look at it and you're going to make a determination. And then the question will be to your lead, to your trainer, to your lead, what's the percentage that the agency uses to apply OA to a clerical and assistant position?
Okay. All right. Well, to my knowledge, it's 25% or more, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
double check.
yeah. And
I'll
so,
confirm.
and so, um, this clerical position um is primarily for 326s. Okay. This functional guide is primarily for 30326s, but they're doing all OA. They're
Right.
sitting at the computer. That's all they're doing. You handing me the work and I'm typing it up. You handing me the work and I'm keying the data. And you handing me when it doesn't fit in any other category,
Mm-hmm.
like a data transcriber or a court reporter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you use some of the criteria from here, but you'll do the evaluation based on the 303 and the
Okay.
functional guide for the 303.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna and to me, like if they're a PSA, to me they're doing this type of work already in there. May not be in as 25% or more, but it didn't before you explained it that it could be a money thing on the back end
Right.
by having extra parenthetical.
Right.
Now I understand why it makes sense that sometimes they put it in there, sometimes it's not.
It's not. Yeah. And if you can't visibly see the 25%, where then you know that it's probably the pay tape. And then you may have to ask. And so do you are y'all in the same location as the staffing people?
No.
Because I don't know how do you I have to find the link to the pay tables and email it to you. Well,
Yeah. No. I can probably get it.
okay.
Yeah. Most
Okay.
of the stuff's on online. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll just ask, I'll just
Yeah.
ask straight up, is that the reason why we put the parenthetical in there? Sometimes we don't.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Just that it's helping me to understand it better by
Oh yeah,
understanding.
yeah. And
Right now.
that's the disadvantage the agencies have when they hire new people off the street that
Hmm.
don't have any federal government experience. They expect
Hmm.
them to get to a level of doing work, but then they don't explain the whole ins and outs of how
Yep.
the government operates. The government operates like its own wild animal. And no,
Yeah.
there's no correlation between this and anything you do in the private industry.
Hmm.
So, and so that's the other thing. I may mention that to them people at the graduate school. Y'all need a course to introduction to the government.
Actually, that actually is needed.
Introduction to government HR.
Hmm.
with
Yeah.
gives you a high overview of how everything goes together. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
so
makes
unless
sense.
you do staffing, you wouldn't know that some areas are included, are specific to paying people that extra money because of where they're located. And so,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, yeah, all right. That's good. That's good. All right, so I think I'm all set. I think the next time around, hopefully I'll I won't have any I think I'll be all set after this as far as for single grade
Okay.
the single grade. So I'll probably double back with you once I get awarded a multiple grade.
Assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A
Um,
two grade in one. Okay. Okay.
yeah. And
That's fine.
then then I have to look at supervisory and
Okay.
leader.
Oh, supervisor is another animal, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But I'm not gonna be able to get to the next levels. But if they, because I think what's gonna happen in our department, I think we're in our particular in classification. I think we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be okay. I know some other departments within HR are not going to. I know that
Yeah.
for a fact.
Yeah.
I already know that. I already been told that. But I think we're going to be okay. So eventually, I am going to want to make sure that I'm, at that 12, and I wanted to be at a 12 before my boss leaves. I want, you know what I mean? Because I don't know who's going to come on next and how tough they're going to be.
So
Starting
you're
all
in
over.
11 now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're
So I
leaving
want
before June?
there. So I believe one of the guys said he's eligible or ready to go. I guess in March. He said it
Oh,
meeting. So I want to be by the time they go, I want to make sure I'm all set. I don't know if it's even possible to get to get that level of knowledge. And what's that? That gives me 3 months. I mean, 6 months.
yeah. But
Yeah,
you know, there's time and grade restriction. And so you have to be at one grade at an entire 365 days or a year before
yeah,
you can move to the next level. When you're on a
yeah.
career,
No,
when you're in
no,
a career
no.
ladder.
Yeah, I've already been. I've been 11. I've been 11 for a year and 3 months.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
we're already at 11, even
Well,
though
then you need to tell them to
because we was
start
on the
you
program.
need to tell them to start pouring on the work so you can get to the 12 so you can
Oh no, he already told me that I'm getting. It's time.
Oh,
He already said train. He said practice and training is over. We need
okay. Okay,
yeah,
great. Okay,
yeah,
great.
it's the training wheels is off now.
Yeah.
so
And
everything will
and
be
and
live.
I'm telling you with Chandel, my friend, she in New York, she I think I worked with her until she got to the 12 level. And
Hmm.
then on the only time she calls me now was to check in and say hi, but is when she has something that's different that she hadn't dealt with before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I think, and to be honest with you, I didn't even know about this other level of classifying with the with the narrative. I didn't even know. Is there any more, or that's it? The level of assignment,
Oh
nature of
no,
scope
that
of
I don't
assignment,
know
level
because
of
I haven't looked at
responsibility.
all the standards. This one surprised me.
Oh, okay, okay. Got you.
I
Yeah,
never worked in the medical part of the government, so this one surprised me.
yeah.
And I
So,
don't
but
know
I have
whether you brought it up before or somebody else mentioned it to me that I was talking to about how to deal with that standard.
mm,
And that's what
yeah.
made me look at it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I was
Yep.
saying nature of assignment, and I think it was somebody else. I think it was Elisa. So I was saying the nature of assignment and level of responsibility. She said it doesn't have level of responsibility. I think it was Elisa.
Yeah.
And I was like, it doesn't. And I went to it and I was like, oh my God, let me read this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if
Yeah.
you come up with something unique, just shoot it to me. I'll look at it. If you think it's gonna be questionable, so I can familiarize myself with it. But they all had the same premise.
Yeah.
They're built on the same foundation. So
Yeah.
I
It
figured.
makes sense. That's
Yeah.
cool. All
Okay.
right. I appreciate it.
All right. Happy car shopping.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to.
Happy
How much I
car
need to
shopping.
send you?
All right.
How much I need to send you this time?
Whatever you feel is necessary, man. I ain't not, I ain't gonna stress you out.
All right. All right.
All
I'll
right.
send it to you in a minute.
Okay, take your time. I'm
Uh,
here. I ain't going to. All
all
right.
right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All
All
right.
right. Oh, and don't forget to upload the video on YouTube like you
Oh,
did
is
before.
it going to save on yours or is it going to save on mine?
Probably on yours because you started it.
Okay,
Or
okay,
did
I
I?
will. I will.
I think you did. I think you started the recording.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'll email it to you.
All right.
All right,
All
thanks.
right. Thank you. All right. Bye
Uh-huh.
bye.